Go.
Hey, Dr. Ross. Hey, Dr. Badawala. Hope you guys are doing well. I hope you remember me because it's been a while. And you're probably wondering why you're there and I'm not. I promise I'll get to that by the time that I'm done. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Charles Cook, and I want to share a story with you. It's a little bit of my story. I'm a regular guy who's led a pretty extraordinary life, especially on the medical side of things. I don't want to take up too much of your time today, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. On April 23rd, 2016, I received a heart transplant at Toronto General Hospital. I consider my surgery to be an example of a miracle of modern medicine. Through my experience, I've learned that such miracles do not occur by chance. I will never know the exact amount of time, talent, and treasure that has been spent to make it possible for me to be able to stand here before you today. But what I do know is that everyone in that room has had a hand in it. So on behalf of all the cardiac patients who've gone before me, for all the ones coming along behind me, I would just like to say thank you to each and every one of you for your generous donations to the cause. And that's coming from the bottom of my new heart. As I just mentioned, stories like mine are made possible by your contributions. Keeping that thought in mind, I would like to remind you at this time that the hospital has a strict no refund policy in effect. So hey, no takebacks. I've already told you that I believe in miracles. One thing that I do not believe in, however, are chance meetings. I believe that we were all supposed to meet here today for a reason. And I like to think that that reason just might be because someone in that room just might need to hear my story. That person might even be you. So I ask that you please pay attention to this part. In April of last year, there were very few people in this room who even knew that I existed. Two of the people who did were Dr. Heather Ross and Dr. Mitesh Badawala. They are my dynamic duo. They can argue over which one's Batman and which one's Robin, because I always wind up as Commissioner Gordon anyway, so it doesn't even matter to me. But just like the Cape Crusaders in the comic books, Dr. Ross and Dr. Badawala were always there for me every time I sent up the signal for help. I'll give you a few examples of just what I'm talking about. Let's go back to the beginning of this very exciting chapter in my medical history. On January 14th, 2015, I went in for a checkup over at Toronto General Hospital. By that time, I've been working with Dr. Ross for years as she helped me to manage my declining heart function. Dr. Ross had always made sure that I was very well aware of the consequences that were being brought on by my congenital and hereditary hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. Whew. Try saying that 3 times fast. We always knew that if all else remained equal, one day my heart would simply wear out. We just didn't know that that day was going to be the day. Based on her foot of the bed assessment, along with some very poor test results, Dr. Ross determined that it was time. She decided to admit me into the hospital immediately, and that decision saved my life. I've begun marching in earnest towards that heart transplant that I mentioned a moment ago. As has often been the case in my life, my path from point A to point B did not run in a straight line. My best friend even has a name for it because I always find the curves. He calls it my inconvenient luck. Now that's just where Dr. Badawala comes in. If loving this man is wrong, I don't want to be right, y'all. And I say that with all due respect to Mrs. Badawala if she happens to be in the room today. I just came here to tell a story, not to get my butt kicked. So please take no offense. 8 days after Dr. Ross admitted me into the hospital, Dr. Badawala performed my first LVAD, or mechanical heart surgery. I say first because things didn't exactly go according to plan with the original surgery, and we wound up having to do it all over again a few weeks later. While I was in recovery, after LVAD 1, I learned from my daughter that I had flatlined during surgery. She told me that it happened 3 times. When I asked Dr. Badawala about it, he confirmed that it was at least twice, but he couldn't really remember about the 3rd time because he'd done so many surgeries since then. Excuse me? I don't know about you guys, but bringing a person back to life multiple times through the use of cardiac massage would definitely qualify as noteworthy events for me. Didn't even faze Dr. Badawala. Now do you begin to understand why I love the man so much? He was the kind of doctor that I wanted on my team. Speaking of teamwork, team is what my entire medical journey has been about at Toronto General Hospital. I've never felt like I was in this alone since the very first day that I set foot in the hospital under Dr. Ross's care. Early on in our relationship, Dr. Ross made one simple request of me, and that laid the foundation for everything that came along afterwards. At the end of one particular exam, Dr. Ross looked at me and she said, "Mr. Cook, please don't do anything that will take away my chance to save your life. Well, Dr. Ross, here I stand, alive and kicking, proving that not only can I follow simple instructions, but that you and your staff do some pretty good work. I'd walk through a wall of fire if you asked me to, without hesitation. And I expect Dr. Badawala to be on the other side of that wall with a fire hose to put me out, because that's just how we roll. You two have my absolute trust and my ultimate faith. Very well earned, I might add. Let's go ahead and fast forward to the present. As a result of complications for my first LVAD surgery, I lost my kidney function. I've been on dialysis ever since. In August of this year, I was placed on the kidney transplant waiting list. On this past Thursday, I got the call. This past Friday, I underwent a successful kidney transplant operation. I'm in recovery now at Toronto General Hospital, and that's why I'm not there with you today. I think you guys can understand. That brings us right up to today and to the end of my tale. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your time and for your attention. It's been a privilege for me to share a bit of my story with you this afternoon. It is an honor for me to be a part of this celebration of two of my most trusted physicians. And y'all know I got to give a shout out to the folks I've been talking about this whole time. So, to the queen of my heart function, Dr. Heather Ross, and my favorite dance partner in the OR, Dr. Mitesh Badawala, I would just like to say a very special thank you to each of you for all that you've done to get me to this point. You guys have been great. I've been Charles Cook. May you all be well until we meet again. Good afternoon.